The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime, revealing the gleaming marble lobby of Pinnacle Industries. Marcus Rodriguez stepped out, his weathered hands gripping a worn duffel bag containing his janitorial supplies. The building stood empty except for the occasional security guard, its corporate halls echoing with the quiet hum of after-hours maintenance. Marcus had worked the night shift for 3 months now, arriving each evening at 6 to begin his methodical cleaning routine. He moved through the executive floors with practiced efficiency, his movements deliberate and respectful. Despite the humble nature of his work, he carried himself with quiet dignity, his pressed uniform clean and his manner professional. Earlier that morning, he had kissed his 80-year-old daughter Sophia goodbye, watching her walk to the school bus with her backpack bouncing against her small shoulders. She never complained about their modest apartment or the second-hand clothes, always greeting him with a bright smile when he returned from his shift. Her resilience reminded him daily why he endured the long nights and aching back. As Marcus began his rounds on the 20th floor, he noticed a light still glowing in the corner office. David Thornton, the company's CEO, worked late again. Marcus had seen this pattern before, the expensive suits and luxury car masking what seemed like a man running from something. Tonight would be different, though. Tonight, Marcus would discover exactly what David Thornton was running from. Marcus approached the glowing office cautiously, his cleaning cartwheels rolling silently across the polished floor. Through the glass partition, he could see a small figure hunched over a desk, papers scattered around him like fallen leaves. It wasn't David Thornton working late. It was a child. The boy looked up as Marcus appeared in the doorway, his eyes red-rimmed and tired. He couldn't have been more than 10 years old, wearing a wrinkled school uniform and clutching a pencil like a lifeline. Math homework spread across the mahogany desk, numbers and equations swimming in frustrated tears. "Hey there," Marcus said gently, setting his spray bottle aside. "You okay, son?" The boy wiped his nose with his sleeve. "I'm supposed to wait for Dad, but he's in another meeting. I can't figure out these stupid fractions," he said, his voice cracking with exhaustion. Marcus glanced at the homework, recognizing the problems immediately. Years of helping Sophia with similar assignments had sharpened his teaching instincts. More than that, his former career in financial planning had made mathematical concepts second nature. "Mind if I take a look?" Marcus asked, moving closer. Sometimes a fresh perspective helps. Before we dive deeper into this story, drop a comment and let us know what state you're watching from. Maybe you've witnessed similar acts of kindness in your community. The boy nodded eagerly, sliding the paper toward Marcus. "I'm Tyler, by the way. Tyler Thornton." Marcus felt his heart skip. Thornton. This was the CEO's son, abandoned in an empty office building while his father chased another deal. Marcus pulled up a chair beside Tyler, his experienced eyes scanning the fraction problems. "These aren't stupid at all," he said warmly. "They're just disguised. See this one here? 3/4 divided by 1/2. Tyler nodded, his frustration evident in the tight grip on his pencil. "Think of it like pizza slices," Marcus explained, his voice taking on the patient tone he used with Sophia. "If you have 3/4 of a pizza, and you want to know how many half pieces that makes, you flip the second number and multiply. 3/4 times 2 equals 6/4, which simplifies to 1.5. Tyler's eyes widened with understanding. "So it's like backwards multiplication?" "Exactly right." Marcus smiled, remembering similar breakthrough moments with confused clients trying to understand investment ratios. Division by fractions always means multiply by the reciprocal. For the next hour, Marcus guided Tyler through each problem, drawing on teaching methods that had once helped Millionaire clients understand complex financial concepts. The boy's confidence grew with each correct answer, his posture straightening as the mathematics began making sense. "You're really good at this," Tyler said, looking up at Marcus with genuine admiration. "Are you a teacher?" Marcus paused, his cleaning supplies a stark reminder of his current reality. "I help people understand things," he said carefully. "That's what matters." When David Thornton finally emerged from his conference call at 9:30, he found Tyler's homework completed and his son fast asleep against the desk, a rare smile playing across his peaceful face. The pattern continued over the following weeks. Tyler would finish his regular homework quickly, then linger in his father's office, waiting for Marcus to begin his cleaning rounds. What started as math helped evolve into deeper conversations about life, responsibility, and the value of hard work. "My dad says money makes more money," Tyler mentioned one evening, watching Marcus methodically organize the desk supplies. "But I don't understand how." Marcus paused, remembering the countless investment portfolios he had once managed. "Well, imagine you plant an apple seed," he began, choosing his words carefully. "That seed costs you something today, but if you water it and care for it, eventually it grows into a tree that gives you many apples." Tyler's brow furrowed in concentration. "So the money is like the seed?" "Exactly. When you invest money wisely, it grows over time through compound interest. But the key word is wisely," Marcus emphasized, thinking of his own financial downfall. "Sometimes people get greedy and plant their seeds in bad soil." "Is that why you work here instead of somewhere fancy?" Tyler asked with the innocent directness only children possess. Marcus felt his chest tighten. "Sometimes life teaches you hard lessons about what really matters," he said softly. "I learned that taking care of the people you love is worth more than any stock portfolio." Tyler nodded solemnly, absorbing wisdom that his expensive tutors had never offered. In Marcus, he found something his father's money couldn't buy: genuine attention and patient guidance from someone who understood both success and failure. David Thornton stared at Tyler's latest report card in disbelief. Mathematics had jumped from a C- to an A- in just 3 weeks. Science showed similar improvement. His son's confidence had transformed completely, replacing sullen dinner conversations with animated discussions about compound interest and investment strategies. "Where did you learn about diversifying portfolios?" David asked during their rare, shared breakfast, watching Tyler explain complex financial concepts with surprising sophistication. "My friend at your office taught me," Tyler replied cheerfully, buttering his toast. "He says smart people spread their risks like not putting all their eggs in one basket." David's coffee cup froze halfway to his lips. What friend at his office? The expensive tutoring service he'd hired had produced no results for months. Yet suddenly Tyler spoke like a junior analyst. Someone was clearly influencing his son. But who? That evening, David canceled his dinner meeting and decided to investigate. He would discover who had been filling his son's head with financial wisdom. The thought of an unauthorized person accessing Tyler during office hours filled him with protective concern and growing suspicion. Walking through the empty building's executive floor, David noticed how clean and organized everything appeared. The janitorial staff worked efficiently, he had to admit, though he rarely paid attention to such mundane details. His focus remained fixed on identifying the mysterious mentor who had somehow reached his son. The elevator dinged softly as David ascended to his office, determination hardening his jaw. Tonight he would uncover the truth about Tyler's sudden academic transformation and put an end to whatever inappropriate relationship had developed. David positioned himself in the conference room adjacent to his office, lights dimmed, watching through the glass partition. At exactly 7:15, Tyler appeared with his backpack, settling into the familiar chair beside the mahogany desk. The boy pulled out homework and began working independently, occasionally glancing toward the hallway. 20 minutes later, the soft sound of wheels rolling across marble announced the arrival of the night cleaning crew. David leaned forward, his pulse quickening as a man in a janitorial uniform entered his office. The intruder was older than expected, maybe 45, with graying temples and calloused hands that spoke of manual labor. "Hey there, Tyler," the janitor said warmly, and David's blood pressure spiked. This stranger knew his son's name. "Marcus, I finished the algebra problems you showed me yesterday," Tyler responded eagerly, holding up his worksheet. "But I'm stuck on this word problem about compound interest." David watched in stunned silence as the janitor sat down beside his son, examining the homework with professional attention. The man's posture suggested education and intelligence, his explanations clear and methodical. But he was still a janitor, a service worker with unauthorized access to Tyler. "Remember what I taught you about breaking down complex problems into smaller pieces?" Marcus said gently, guiding Tyler through the solution with patience that David rarely exhibited himself. The scene appeared innocent enough, even beneficial, but David's protective instincts overrode rational thought. This inappropriate relationship had to end immediately. David burst through his office door with calculated authority, his expensive suit cutting an imposing figure in the fluorescent light. Marcus immediately stood, stepping away from Tyler's desk with practiced deference. "Excuse me," David said coldly, his voice carrying the sharp edge of corporate command. "I need to speak with you privately." Tyler looked between the two men with confusion, sensing the sudden tension crackling through the air. "Dad, this is Marcus. He's been helping me with Tyler. Gather your things and wait in the lobby," David interrupted, his eyes never leaving Marcus's face. "Security will escort you to the car." Marcus watched the boy reluctantly pack his backpack, noting the hurt and bewilderment in Tyler's expression. "It's okay," Marcus said softly to Tyler. "Your dad just wants to talk." Once Tyler disappeared into the elevator, David turned his full attention to the janitor who had somehow infiltrated his son's life. "I don't know what your game is, but it ends tonight," he said with barely controlled anger. "You will not approach my son again. You will not speak to him, help him, or acknowledge his existence." Marcus nodded respectfully, understanding the father's protective instincts even while disagreeing with his assessment. "I understand your concern, Mr. Thornton. I was only trying to help." "Help?" David's voice rose. "You're a janitor who has been manipulating my 10-year-old son. Stay away from Tyler, or you'll find yourself looking for a new job." The threat hung in the air like a blade, cutting through any possibility of explanation or understanding. 3 weeks passed in painful silence. Tyler's grades plummeted as quickly as they had risen, his homework remaining incomplete on the kitchen table night after night. The confident boy who had discussed investment strategies over breakfast became withdrawn and sullen, picking at his dinner without enthusiasm. David hired another expensive tutor, a stern woman with impressive credentials who drilled Tyler on mathematical formulas without patience or warmth. The sessions ended in tears and frustration, Tyler's newfound love of learning replaced by familiar anxiety and self-doubt. "I don't understand why I can't see Marcus anymore," Tyler said during one particularly difficult evening, his math homework scattered in defeat. "He made everything make sense." "That man was inappropriate," David replied curtly, not looking up from his laptop. "The new tutor has a PhD from Harvard, but she yells at me when I make mistakes," Tyler whispered, his voice small and hurt. David felt a stab of guilt, but pushed it aside. He was protecting his son from whatever manipulation the janitor had employed. The fact that Tyler's performance had declined only proved how dependent he had become on an unhealthy relationship. Meanwhile, Marcus continued his night shift with heavy heart, seeing Tyler's empty desk through the office partition. He respected David's wishes, but worried constantly about the boy's well-being. Every night, he noticed the incomplete homework assignments in the wastebasket, evidence of Tyler's struggling return to academic failure. The crisis came when Tyler's teacher called about his upcoming financial literacy project, worth 40% of his semester grade. David stared at the phone in his hand, Tyler's teacher's words echoing in his mind. The financial literacy project required students to create a comprehensive investment portfolio presentation, demonstrating understanding of risk management, compound interest, and market diversification. Tyler had 3 days to complete it or face academic probation. "I tried helping him myself," David admitted to his reflection in the office window. Despite his MBA and years of corporate success, he couldn't translate complex financial concepts in a language a 10-year-old could grasp. His explanations came out as corporate jargon and impatient corrections. The Harvard-educated tutor had quit after Tyler's tearful breakdown during their last session. "The child needs confidence building, not advanced theory," she had said disapprovingly before packing her materials. David found himself walking the empty hallways after midnight, searching for answers he couldn't provide. Near the janitorial supply closet, he encountered Marcus organizing cleaning materials with methodical precision. "Mr. Thornton," Marcus said respectfully, straightening immediately. David swallowed his pride, desperation overriding his prejudices. My son has a project. Financial literacy. He's failing, and I don't know how to help him. Marcus set down his supplies, considering carefully. What kind of project? Investment portfolio presentation. Risk management, compound interest diversification. David's voice cracked slightly. He understood these concepts 3 weeks ago, but now he can't even start. Children learn differently than adults, Marcus said gently. They need stories and pictures, not formulas and theories. David looked at this janitor with growing desperation. Can you help him? Marcus studied David's desperate expression, weighing his words carefully. Mr. Thornton, before I answer, there's something you should know about me. David waited, his impatience barely contained. I wasn't always a janitor, Marcus began quietly. 3 years ago, I was a senior financial advisor at Meridian Investment Group. I managed portfolios worth over $50 million, helped families plan for retirement, college funds, estate planning. David's eyes widened, his assumptions crumbling with each word. I lost everything in a market crash I should have seen coming. Marcus continued, his voice steady despite the painful memories. My clients trusted me with their life savings, and my overconfidence destroyed their futures along with mine. I ended up here because no one in finance would hire someone with my track record. The revelation hung between them like a bridge spanning 2 different worlds. David realized he had been seeing only the uniform, not the man wearing it. Tyler reminds me why I loved teaching people about money in the first place, Marcus said softly. Before I got caught up in the greed and pressure. He asks questions because he wants to understand, not because he wants to get rich quick. David felt shame wash over him as he remembered his harsh accusations and threats. You were genuinely helping him. Children need patience and stories, not lectures about market volatility, Marcus replied. Tyler has a brilliant mind, but he learns through connection and trust. Something I had to remember myself after losing everything. Will you help him with the project? David asked humbly. The next evening, Tyler's face lit up like sunrise when he saw Marcus waiting in his father's office. David watched from the doorway as his son rushed forward, homework forgotten in his joy at seeing his mentor again. Marcus, Dad said you could help me with my project, Tyler exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. That's right, Marcus smiled, spreading poster boards across the desk. We're going to build something amazing together. Tell me, what's the most important lesson about money? Tyler thought carefully. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Perfect. So let's create a visual basket portfolio. Marcus began sketching different types of investments as colorful baskets, stocks as apple baskets, bonds as orange baskets, real estate as banana baskets. Each basket has different risks and rewards. David marveled at Marcus's teaching method, watching Tyler absorb complex concepts through simple analogies. The man explained compound interest using a magic bean story, where money planted today grew into towering beanstalks tomorrow. Now, what happens if we only have apple baskets and apple prices crash? Marcus asked. We lose everything, Tyler answered confidently. But if we have different kinds of baskets, some might still be okay. Marcus nodded approvingly. Exactly. Diversification protects against catastrophic loss. As Tyler crafted his presentation with growing confidence, David realized he was witnessing masterful teaching from someone who understood both success and failure intimately. Marcus had turned painful experience into wisdom, sharing hard-earned knowledge with genuine care. The presentation took shape beautifully, Tyler's excitement building with each completed section. Tyler's presentation day arrived with nervous excitement. David sat in the back of the classroom, watching his son confidently explain investment diversification using Marcus's colorful basket analogy. The other parents leaned forward, impressed by the sophisticated concepts delivered with such clarity and enthusiasm. Compound interest is like planting magic beans, Tyler explained to his classmates, his voice strong and clear. The earlier you plant them, the bigger your beanstalk grows. But you have to be patient and smart about where you plant them. Tyler's teacher looked stunned as he demonstrated risk management principles that graduate students struggled to grasp. The boy had transformed from struggling student to confident presenter, his project earning unanimous praise from the judging panel. After the presentation, David approached Marcus with genuine humility. "I owe you an enormous apology," he said quietly. "I judged you based on your uniform instead of your character." Marcus smiled warmly. "You were protecting your son. I understand that instinct completely. I'd like to offer you a position in our financial planning department," David continued. "Your teaching ability is extraordinary." Marcus considered the offer thoughtfully. "I appreciate that, Mr. Thornton, but I've learned something important about myself. I'm exactly where I need to be. However, I'd be honored to continue tutoring Tyler, if you'll allow it." David nodded gratefully, understanding that some gifts couldn't be measured in salary packages. If this story touched your heart, please drop a comment and share your favorite moment, or tell us about a time when someone unexpectedly made a difference in your child's life. That evening, Tyler hugged Marcus tightly, grateful for a mentor who saw potential where others saw problems.